Hi my scholars, this is my school channel and my name is Abiola. Remember, in this channel you will be joining me to solve the JAMB CBT past question for the subject Biology, the year 2011. Do not go anywhere, stay with us because we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school YouTube channel, and in this video segment you'll be joining me to solve question 1 to 16. So let's start with question 1. The function of the red head in male Agama lizard is to do what? This is a display or a visual signal for courtship, a courtship behavior. Okay, it wants to attract the female. But probably you can see some presentation they will give you as orange head, all right, orange colored head or red head, whatever thing you want to bring out here. So the function of the red head in male Agama lizard is to attract female lizards for mating purposes. So option C is the correct option. Question 2. Seed plants are divided into angiosperms and gymnosperms. Okay, so seed plants, we are talking about spermatophytes, all right? When you come to trachophytes, we are talking about vascular plants. Ferns, we are looking at pteridophytes, okay? So where seed plants, like I said, we are looking at the spermatophyte or spermatophyta, okay? So, and it's now divided into angiosperms, flowering plants whose seed are enclosed within the fruit, then then we have gymnosperms, okay, whose they bear naked seeds and they are not flowering plants. Okay, so angiosperms is now further divided into monocotyledon and dicotyledon. So let's take it down to option C. So you will see monocotyledon and dicotyledon, they are under this. So talophytes, we're just talking about algae. Okay, bryophytes, we are looking at liverworts and mosses. So the correct option, yes, option B, angiosperms and gymnosperms. Question 3. In which of the following groups of vertebrates is parental care mostly exhibited? Okay, so now let's do something. This oviparous, that means they lay eggs. Okay, so reptilia or reptiles, like lizard, your snakes, okay? None in most cases. Amphibians, none in most cases. Aves, we are looking at birds generally. Okay, so actually they show a good level of parental care. All right, sometimes you even find the male babysitting the eggs or going out to our source for food. Okay, so at least for several weeks. Okay, the parents look after their young. All right, but the mostly exhibited we are looking for is in mammals, mammalia. Okay, we are talking about humans like you and I. So, and that's why we do celebrate Father's Day, Mother's Day, and whatever day you want to add to it. So the correct option is option D for mammalia. Question 4. The adaptive importance of nuptial flight from termite colonies is to do what? This is to disperse the reproductive in order to establish new colonies. Okay, this is how it happens, very easy. You know, at first, termites, you can also refer to them as white ants. Okay, so they feed on wood or dead materials, okay, maybe dead plants, okay, to bring it that way. So this is what happens. You know, we have starting a new colony probably at the onset of rainy season. Okay, so there's something we call swarming. That is, you will see large numbers of long-winged reproductive male and female. Okay, they will leave the colony where they are or the nest where they are. Okay, so they will not fly off. So in the course of this flight, known as nuptial flight or wedding flight, okay, so they now take themselves in pairs, male and female. Okay, they will separate themselves from the large numbers. So they fall off to the ground, their wing falls off. Then they begin to dig holes like tunnels in the ground. After a week or thereabouts, they start mating and they start giving birth to the caste that will form the new society or the new colony. So the adaptive importance of nuptial flight from termite colonies is to disperse the reproductive in order to establish new colonies for expansion of the termite generation. So the correct option here is option A for what we have been given. Kindly remember that the Myschool team, they have provided you with wonderful tools for you to be better prepared, okay, for your coming exams. All you need to do, use the link in the description below. It's going to make you get to the Myschool website, okay. Right there you can get the Myschool mobile app or the Myschool software. And you just need a token of 1,000 naira to activate this app so that you can have access to thousands of questions. All right, so join me as we solve question 5. An example of an endospermous seed is what? Okay, so when you talk about the endosperm, you're talking about the food storage for developing embryo, just basically, okay? That is where food is stored for the developing embryo. I'm talking about a seed in this context, okay? So sometimes it may persist, okay? The embryo may persist, it may surround the developing embryo so that it can serve as food source to be supplying food, to make food available for the embryo that is growing. All right, so you can find this this presence of the endosperm, okay, not being taken in or absorbed in seeds like your maize grain and your castor. All right, but on the other hand, you can also find it completely absorbed or taken in by the growing or developing embryo, in which case you will not see the cotyledon filling in for the function of storage, for food storage, okay? And that is what you see happening in bean seed. We are talking about cowpea and gram, all right? So the correct option here is option A. Maize grain is an example of an endospermous seed. Please do not forget to hit that like button and also click on the subscribe button and always tap on bell notification so you can get alerts immediately we upload the next video content just for you. 6. Which of the following can cause shrinkage of living cell? This happens when water moves out of the cell, okay, into the surrounding fluid, all right? And that's because the surrounding fluid is hypertonic to the contents of the cell, okay? So water will move from inside the cell to the surrounding fluid. So when the surrounding fluid is lower in concentration compared to the concentration we have inside the cell, so that makes an hypotonic solution. So water will move from outside the cell into the cell, okay? Isotonic solution now tells you that the same concentration both inside the cell and outside the cell. So the correct option here, and this leads to shrinkage, okay, because water is leaving the cell. While in hypotonic solution, water is entering into the cell. It can cause the cell to swell and rupture, and both can lead to death, okay, of the cell or generally the animal involved. So the correct option here is option D. Hypertonic solution can cause shrinkage of living cells. So I present to you option D. 7. Which of the following is true of leukocytes? So when you talk about the blood cells, we are talking about the red blood cells or the erythrocytes. Okay, so we are looking at hemoglobin, that is the oxygen carrying pigment. Okay, so when you talk about leukocytes, we are looking at white blood cells, okay, and they are responsible for body defense. They are larger than the red blood cell, okay, and they also are nucleated, of course. So I think I've presented the answer. Which of the following is true of leukocytes or white blood cells? Okay, they are large and nucleated. So I was saying something about blood cells. We are talking about red blood cells. That is the erythrocytes. Okay, we are looking at hemoglobin. White blood cells, we are looking at leukocytes. Okay, body defense against disease. Then when we come to platelets, all right. So we are looking at they are responsible for clotting of blood. They are so much involved in that. Okay, so when you compare the numbers of the white blood cells to the red blood cell, that is the erythrocytes to the leukocytes. Erythrocytes, red blood cells, white blood cells, leukocytes. So the erythrocytes, we are looking at about 5 million, okay, per cubic millimeter. Okay, then for leukocytes, we are looking at 7,000, about 7,000 per cubic millimeter. So we can see that the red blood cell is much more in number compared to the white blood cell. So let's count through the options together. Which of the following is true of leukocytes? Option A, they are respiratory pigment. That is incorrect. Respiratory pigments, you can point to erythrocytes because of hemoglobin. All right. B, they are most numerous and ramify or cell. They are not the most numerous. I just said that they are 7,000 per or in 1 cubic millimeter, if you want to put it, white blood cell. While red blood cell is about 5 million. So difference is clear. Option C, they are large and nucleated. This is correct. They are larger than the red blood cells. D, they are involved in blood clotting. This is for platelets. So the correct option, once again, is option C. They are large and nucleated. Question 8. The conversion of a nutrient into a molecule in the body of a consumer is referred to as what? So when we're looking at a consumer, we're talking about an heterotroph. So generally, if you want to look at the digestion channel, we are looking at ingestion that is taken in of food substance, okay? Then we're now looking at digestion, okay? In digestion, either by or combo of both, okay? Either by chemical means or by mechanical means, okay? This food substance is broken down into soluble, right, diffusible, and simple form, all right, that can be absorption, okay, into the fluid for transportation to where they can be assimilated into the tissues or the cells of the tissues where these molecules can be used. Okay, so the conversion of a nutrient into a molecule in the body of a consumer is referred to as assimilation. So you are talking at the cellular level, okay, the cells in the tissue, they now absorb it to make use of it, whatever thing they want to do with it. So we'll talk about injection, okay, just intake of this food, then digestion, you are breaking down this food, okay, into simple substance, all right, and it's going to be absorbed into the fuel system or in the transport system, okay, where it will now be circulated to where it will be assimilated, okay, into the tissues where they will be used up. So the correct option is option B for assimilation. 9. The ability of living organisms to detect and respond to changes in the environment is referred to as sensitivity or irritability, respond to stimulus, okay, in the environment. It can be internal environment or external environment, but considerably, let me just take it to external environment, okay. So locomotion is just movement, general. Let me just take it as movement generally. Growth, increase in size, and what have you. So taxis here is one form of irritability, but it occurs in motile organisms. Take for instance amoeba, okay. So when you talk about taxis, we are looking at organisms whereby when they want to respond to a particular stimulus, okay, the whole organism will move. All right, so that's for taxis or taxism or tactical or tactic movements rather. So the correct option here is option B for irritability. Do not forget to click on that link in the description below. It's going to make you get to the Myschool website. Okay, there you get the best spot to ask your questions so our solution providers can help you out. So join me as we solve question 10. In mammals, the exchange of nutrients and metabolic products occurs in the where? Okay, so take this at first. When it comes to mammals, they have a rapid and efficient transport system. Now, the main medium is the blood. And we also have the lymph and okay, and the intercellular fluid, okay, as well. So all of these make up what makes the blood very functional. And when it comes to the mammal, the transport system, you are looking at the blood as a main medium, okay. You are looking at the 4-chambered heart, okay, the heart that pumps the blood. You are looking at the other vessels involved as well. You're looking at some other things. So basically in mammals, the exchange of nutrients and metabolic products occurs, we are going to give it to the lymph, okay, because alongside the other one I mentioned, okay, they associate with the blood to function as an efficient transport system. How do they do this? Imagine your lungs, okay. You will see that the oxygen, blood that lacks oxygen or that oxygen has been drained off will be brought to the lungs, and there the exchange will take place. The other side of it, where blood that contains oxygen will be passed back into the heart, and there goes on the circle. When you come to the trachea, you know, right there, the oxygen, the air we breathe in, comes in, and it comes in contact with the blood that you can find in the gaseous system. I'm talking about the lungs, the bronchioles, the alveoli, and what have you. So basically, it is the blood that is the main medium when it comes to mammals, okay? And what makes up the blood? We are looking at the lymph. It's part of what makes up the blood, an efficient transport system. So the most accurate option here is option D for the lymph. Perhaps you have better explanation that you'd like to offer. Please, we are so much interested. All you need to do, use that comment section below and indicate the question number to share your solution with us. Question 11. Which of the above modes of nutrition is correctly matched with the organism that exhibits it? Okay, so let's examine this together. So we have parasitism to sundew. Sundew is not a parasitic plant, okay? Sundew, Venus, flytrap, they are carnivorous plants. So when you talk about parasitic plants, you are looking at Duda, you are looking at witchweed, you are looking at mistletoe. So this is wrongly matched. Let's look at II, autotrophism to amoeba. This is incorrect. Amoeba is heterotrophic in nature, okay? It ingests food. Once it comes in contact with food, it uses its pseudopodium, or if you want to use plural, pseudopodia. So this is wrongly matched. If you are looking at autotrophs, you are looking at green plants. All right, we have saprophytism, that is III, to algae. This is incorrect as well. Saprophytes, we are talking about fungi. Most fungi are saprophytic in nature. Okay, so when you are looking at algae should have been correctly matched to these autotrophs. All right, heterotrophism, Agama lizard, this is very correct. You know, heterotrophism talks about that concept whereby animals, or let me say organism, okay, on the safer side, they ingest food, they take in food from the surrounding. So the correct option here is option IV, heterotrophism to Agama lizard, Agama. Okay, and that is found in option C. So option C is the correct option. 12. Use the following information to answer the question below. So we have test tube 1. Okay, so what is the question below? In which of the test tubes will glucose be detected after complete hydrolysis? All right, so let's consider test tube 1. Test tube containing cane sugar and water. Hydrolysis cannot happen this way, okay? Let's look at test tube 2. Test tube containing cane sugar and dilute acid. Yes, this can occur because you use dilute acid, probably HCl or H2SO4 dilute ones, okay, to work on this, all right? Cane sugar precisely is a good source for sucrose, all right? So we are basically looking at sucrose. Sucrose is a complex sugar. So you want to bring down this complex sugar to give you simple sugars like glucose, fructose, galactose, and what have you. So the hydrolysis can be done using dilute acid, all right? So it can happen from here. So once it's being broken down, then you can now use sodium hydroxide to neutralize the excess acid so that you can now carry out the test for this simple sugar. So it can occur in test tube 2. Let's consider test tube 3, okay? Test tube containing cane sugar, sucrose, have that in mind, and its degrading enzyme. Of course, you know, this process I just explained can also be effected using the enzyme invertase, and the process is known as inversion. Okay, so it's possible that the degrading enzyme too can be introduced. So in which of the following test tubes, in which of the test tubes will glucose be detected after complete hydrolysis? That is possible in this and this, 2 and 3. So option B is what I present to you as the correct option. So what would you go for? 13. Use the following information to answer the question below. So this information is what we had in the previous clip. So we just have it. So we have the question here. The enzyme involved in the hydrolysis is what? Okay, this requires that we are very careful. At first, you are looking at a complex sugar. All right. And I told you cane sugar is a good source for sucrose. So the enzyme, okay, that can break sucrose into galactose and fructose, that enzyme is referred to as sucrase. So the enzyme that can get involved in this hydrolysis, aside from dilute acid, okay, is sucrase. Maltase is for maltose, okay, it breaks maltose that is formed from the hydrolysis of starch by dilute acid, okay. It works on maltose. You can look at that. So sucrase is for sucrose, and sucrose is what we are looking at here. So the correct option is option C, sucrase that breaks sucrose into glucose and fructose. Option C is the correct option. 14. The part of the mammalian ear responsible for the maintenance of balance, okay, that is the vestibular system. Okay, so here we are referring to the semicircular canals that is responsible for balance. Okay, the cochlea is as well found in the inner ear. It looks like a snail shell. Okay, this is the organ of hearing. The pinna, your outer ear. So the correct option here is the vestibular system. It is concerned and connected with maintaining balance. Option D is the correct option. Question 15. The path followed by air as it passes through the lungs in mammals is what? So I'm going to take this that is coming from the outside. All right. So if it's coming from the outside, that means it begins with the windpipe, your trachea. Okay. So from your trachea, it branches into the bronchus. This is plural from bronchi. Okay. So from the bronchi, it branches into the bronchioles. All right. Then from the bronchioles, we have the alveoli. So the correct option here is option A. 16. The movement response of a cockroach away from light source can be described as what? So it is definitely not any of this, C or D, all right? When you talk about tropism, we are talking about part of a plant that moves in response to a directional stimulus, okay? So this is for plant, tropism, plants, okay? So we are going to consider these two. Taxism, the whole organism is moving in response to the stimulus coming from a particular direction, okay? So, and it occurs in motor organism, okay? So if the stimulus is light, you call it photo. If it is temperature, you are looking at thermo, all right? If it is chemical, you are looking at chemotaxis. So phototaxism shows you that, okay, it is moving away from light. And we're talking about cockroach, very mobile. So the movement response of a cockroach away from a light source. If it was moving towards a light source, it would have been positive. Now it's moving away from the stimulus of the light. That tells you it's a negative phototaxism. So the correct option is option B for negative phototaxism. We've come to the end of this video segment, but there are still more interesting content to come. All you need to do for us and for yourself is to hit the like button. Also, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and always tap on bell notification so you can get alert immediately we put up the next video content just for your comfort.